I'm really sorry for the low quality of this video. I'm having to film with my phone because I'm out of town and don't have the normal camera that I use with me. In this video, I'm going to be discussing recent events involving police brutality and racism in Ferguson, Missouri, and across the country. This could be upsetting or even triggering for some people, so try to use your best judgment while watching. As a white ally with PTSD from my own experiences with riot police, I try to strike a balance between holding a safe space for my emotional health and pushing my boundaries to support those who are being systematically oppressed. On January 4th, 2008, police entered the home of 26-year-old mother of 6 Tamika Williams looking for her boyfriend. A jury acquitted the shooter, Joseph Chevalier. He heard his partner shooting the dogs in the neighborhood, thought that the gunshots came from inside, and shot the woman and killed her, injuring her 1-year-old child that she was holding. On May 16, 2010, 7-year-old Ayanna Stanley-Jones was shot and killed by a SWAT team entering the wrong house during murder investigations for the reality TV show The First 48. She was sleeping on the couch. On February 26, 2012, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot and killed in Florida by George Zimmerman. Zimmerman was acquitted over a year later. On February 14th this year, Mother Yvette Smith was shot in her doorway after police arrived to investigate a reported disturbance. Police originally claimed that she was armed when she was shot. No evidence supported their claims, and Bastrop County Deputy Daniel Willis was indicted for murder. On July 17th of this year, police officer Daniel Palatino placed father of 6 Eric Garner in a chokehold, which medical examiners ruled was a homicide. Video has been released showing the murder of Mr. Garner, where he can be heard saying, "I can't breathe," 11 times before he died. Chokeholds are banned under NYPD policy. The officer responsible was reassigned to a different post, and Staten Island grand jury chose not to indict. August 9th of this year, Michael Brown was shot by police officer Darren Wilson. He was 18. He was unarmed. His body was left in the street where he was killed for hours. Wilson was on paid administrative leave for nearly 4 months between the shooting and when he resigned from his job. A white majority grand jury chose not to indict Wilson to uproar and protest online and on the streets. November 22nd this year, a call was sent to Cleveland 911 reporting a possible firearm at a local park. The caller stated multiple times that it was probably fake. Tamir Rice was playing with a BB gun that had the orange safety cap removed. Police arrived on the scene and opened fire on the boy seconds later. Tamir died the next day from gunshot wounds. Behind each of these incidents are people with lives just as valuable as mine or yours. Media and the police state attempt to criminalize these humans, but this tactic reveals a larger inequality where the public has grown accustomed to the murder of criminals, the justification of lethal force against citizens without fair trial. I don't care that Eric Garner sold cigarettes illegally. I don't care if Trayvon Martin ever smoked pot. I care about their lives, their futures that were stolen from them and their families. Killing people does nothing to alleviate the myriad of political, environmental, and financial factors that create drug and crime cultures in this country. These excuses for violence and the dismissal of accountability and reform fall apart when we look at the multitude of well-documented mass shootings by white gunmen who were brought into police custody safely. Now is not the time to make this video about me. It's not the time to make it about my white guilt or about my struggle to support causes that I care about. One of the best things that anyone can do to support movements is to get out there, go beyond the streets, make yourself heard, and specifically as a non-Black ally, to amplify the voices of Black people who are standing up for themselves and their communities. But some people don't have the ability to go out and join the protests that are happening. It's always good to try to push yourself to stand up for other people, but it's also important to recognize what you can and can't do. That's something that I have to face a lot with my disabilities. That's not about me, right? What it is about is the many things that we can do to help. There are a lot of different places that you can put your money, and I spent quite a bit of time doing research and talking to people who are on the streets in Ferguson and elsewhere, and one of the best places that you can donate to is the Legal Support Fund for Justice for Mike Brown. These are people who are posting bail for protesters, keeping tabs on people so that they don't get lost in the legal system. They're doing trainings so that protesters know their rights. They have a 24-hour legal support hotline that people can call if they get arrested or if they need help. They help get lawyers for people who can't afford them. They help support people who are going through trials. I know as someone who's gone through that having community support means the world to your emotional health. Donations that don't get used to help Ferguson protesters specifically go towards supporting civil disobedience in the St. Louis area. Please, vote for the Legal Support Fund for Justice for Mike Brown. They're doing amazing work. They're following in a great tradition of support for protesters and those who practice civil disobedience, those who put their lives and their jobs, their families, their happiness on the line to stand up for what's right. And consider donating to them directly through their website. There's a link here, and I'll put one in the description along with all of the sources that I used to make this video. Thank you, and have a wonderful Project for Awesome.